Is it recording? Yes. So our DD is still not.
Yeah, thank you, madam. Thank you for your wonderful introduction.
Hi, ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen. We'll have a short address from our district director. Please help me welcome distinguished Toastmaster Mohammed Salim.
Thank you very much, District 20 PRM, Toastmaster Madam Al-Aradi. Let me acknowledge the presence of our Apparel Director, DTM Khalid Abdullah. We have been meeting more often in the virtual more than these days. It's been everywhere. He's everywhere actually. So he was like referred to as like to a certain extent as omnipresent. Like he's available everywhere actually. So that's one thing. We have also with us the head of our club office, Toastmaster Sam. Okay, thank you very much for all of you for attending this wonderful session actually. Now, why brand manual? Why do we need to have brand actually? That's the most important question we face these days actually. Why don't we use colors of our choice? Why don't we use fonts of our choice? We need to have a liberty to do that actually. Whereas when you talk about brand manual, I'm not referring to the brand colors and the manual. It's what does brand represent? Brand represents we as Toastmasters. Actually. Forget about all those things. Actually, we are not talking about colors here. We're not talking about the fonts here. We are talking about we ourselves as Toastmasters. Actually, are we having a uniform pattern or uniform? Are we all being the same when it comes to brand? Actually, we are the ambassadors of the brand, the Toastmasters. Actually, are we portraying it in the right manner? When we portray it in the right fashion, we don't need to worry about the colors and the fonts. Actually, the point here is that we have two faces of we are wearing masks these days actually, face mask, whereas we have been wearing mask throughout actually, even in Toastmasters. What do I mean by mask is that we portray a different face in a Toastmasters meeting, whereas in reality we don't show that face actually. We are very common people when it comes to Toastmasters. When outside world in Toastmasters we have a different portray, and in the outside world we have a different portray. So that is the reason actually not many people know we are Toastmasters. How different we should be, just wear badges, wear our pins, not really. We need to have the qualities what we have acquired in Toastmasters to be applied in our all walks of our life. So then we will have a lot of members joining Toastmasters. If you are common people, why should people come and join Toastmasters? So let's be the change. Let's make it change. That is the purpose of our PRM role actually. That is the purpose. And let's make a change in the society. All the best for the workshop. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Didi Salim, for that inspiring words. And we'll make sure that we perform our best until the end of this term and all of the terms beyond. Now, before we begin our workshop, I just wanted to remind everybody of our agenda, which is we're going to talk about what is a brand and why are guidelines important as Toastmasters and in general for any brand or for any branding basically. There are certain guidelines that have to be followed. Why is it so important to follow these guidelines? And then we're going to talk about all of the sections that are in the brand manual itself. So we'll be first talking about the brand platform, the visual guidelines, images, photography, and resources, and then finally with the standards, procedures, and policy. Before we begin, I would like to present or basically present our presenters today. You've already seen us on the screens, but a little bit about myself. My name is Toastmaster Maram Al-Aradi. Once again, I'm a member of the Young Adult Toastmasters Club since 2012, and I have served in various leadership roles throughout my Toastmaster journey, and I just can't get enough of everything. I'm addicted to events coordination, but luckily Didi Salim this time has grabbed me for a permanent position in the public relations, and hopefully everybody here and myself, we will finish the term with flying colors. My next presenter who's going to help me basically present this amazing workshop, inshallah, is Toastmaster Sana Fatima, and she's also part of the district public relations manager in the CGD, our club growth director team. She's actually a member of Timber Talkers Toastmasters Club, and she has been in Toastmasters for 9 months only. She's also an IT professional turned into a teacher and loves poetry. So we will now start off with our workshop with our first heading of today, which is what is a brand? Now, when you hear a brand, when we say branded stuff or branded items or branded colors, what do you mean by a brand? Brand is actually an identity. It is who that it's an identity for an organization or an individual, a company. Everything in the world has a brand, even yourself. So we're talking about here in Toastmasters International, the brand itself is like a fingerprint. Just like your fingerprints have in different lines and waves, and they are special for everybody else. There are no person on the world that has the same fingerprint. Similarly with the brand. If a person copies your fingerprint, it's considered a violation or against the law. Similarly with Toastmasters brand or any other brand. If anybody tries to copy the brand and you misuse it somehow, it is considered as a violation. And we should also, as Toastmasters, protect this brand and all of its copyrights. And the reason why a brand becomes famous is because it's consistent. It's the same throughout the years. Look for some of the famous brands in the world, like McDonald's, Chanel, Audi, Toyota, all of these brands in the world. What makes them famous? They're there for hundreds and years. Why, until this generation, we remember these brands? It's because they're consistent. They're in terms of their logo, in terms of their mission, in terms of everything. So what is a brand itself? It's not just a logo, it's a name. It's the logo itself, it's the terms, the text, the fonts, the colors, the design, the feel itself. Everything that is about that brand makes it what it is. So everything that you think of a brand, it's the first thing that actually comes into your mind. The first thing that you feel when you see that specific brand or that specific logo or color. Say, for example, all of these brands, this is just an example. So when we talk about McDonald's, the first thing that comes into your mind, food, fast food. When you say Nike or Adidas, the first thing that comes to you is footwear. Toyota, cars, LG, electronics and home appliances, and so on. So when you see that logo, when you see that brand, the first thing that comes into your mind is what it's supposed to be. If the brand is consistent and follows all of its guidelines and people know it for what it is, this is how successful we know we are as a brand. So for example, these are known brands, but for example, if I showed you this, everybody knows what this is, right? This is Burj Khalifa. Where it is it's in Dubai. So that Burj Khalifa is actually Dubai's brand. When we see this picture, this is Kuwait's towers, and we know that this is Kuwait's brand. It's branded to Kuwait only. Similarly with our Formula One in Bahrain, this is Bahrain's brand. So even though these pictures are silhouettes or in black, let's say, you instantly recognize what is this, where are they from. So this is what brand is supposed to be. It's supposed to be universally known. So going to the guidelines, actually the brand consists of several elements, including the logo, the typography, the colors, and the image. So a brand is actually a personality. It's a representation of what it is. What design does it hold? What does it do? What service does it provide? Does it benefit people? What does it give exactly? What's this brand for? And what is the value, the mission, the promise that are associated with this brand? Everything that is connected with this brand. And does it target certain people? does it have a target audience? Say, for example, Jaguar is not available for every person. It's considered a luxury car, so it targets that certain amount of audience or that certain type of audience. But for example, if we're talking about fast food, everybody is considered a target audience. So what is the Toastmasters target audience? Basically everybody who's looking for to develop their communication and leadership skills. And it is important that we make sure that people know our brand. Now, coming to the brand platform, this is part of the Toastmasters brand manual, pages 4 to 6. It actually talks about the tagline. We have seen this tagline in every Toastmaster publication. And sometimes a lot of members actually keep it in their posters. So where leaders are made. This is the Toastmasters International tagline. And if you notice in the brand manual, it's also written in full caps. It's not written as a capital letter for each word, but it's actually in full caps the entire sentence. So it should be the same as well, because it's considered a tagline that should not be altered. And of course, we all know our core values, which forms into integrity, respect, service, and excellence in everything that we do. It's not just in speeches, it's not just in our events or anything. Even in our brand, even in our posters, we have to maintain these core values in order for our brand to be known and reach to maximum amount of people. And we have also something called brand promise. Our brand promise is slightly similar to the Toastmasters International mission, which is empowering individuals through personal and professional development. This is the brand's promise. And then we have the personality. What is our brand's personality in Toastmasters? It's actually universal. Why? Because it highlights leadership, it highlights dedication, it highlights empowerment. We are all here to be able to learn how to become better leaders, better speakers, and how we can apply our skills to serve others so that everybody else rises to excellence. And with doing so, we actually empower other individuals. So our voice and our tone is actually what our identity is. It should be warm, clear, friendly, professional, second, respectful, universally understandable, and most importantly, internationally friendly. So as soon as our posters or our publication in Toastmasters is seen to members that are outside the community or the Toastmasters fraternity, they immediately know, or they immediately should know, that this belongs to a Toastmasters organization. And we have to make sure that this is followed throughout our publication, throughout our terms, and everything that we do actually. Now, for the visual guidelines, I will allow my co-presenter here, Toastmaster Sana, to take over. Sana, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Maram, and hello everyone, and welcome to the PR Workshop Series, Episode 1, the brand new brand manual. I'll be going to enlighten you about the visual brand guidelines. So these are dealt with on the pages 8 to 16 of the brand manual. So let us zoom right in. Firstly, the visual guidelines are basically, they frame the visual identity of the Toastmasters. A few minutes back, DTM Salim has mentioned that, we need to emanate Toastmasters, we need to ingrain Toastmasters identity in ourselves, right? So in the same way, we need to also imbibe the Toastmasters identity in the posters or any other visual material that we create, isn't it? So the first thing that portray the Toastmasters identity is definitely the logos. So logos are an integral piece of Toastmasters brand identity. They accelerate engagement, they raise the credibility of your material, and really bring your material to the umbrella of Toastmasters. So there are certain guidelines. Firstly, we have 3 kinds of logos. One is the full color version, the grayscale, and the white. We need to use it accordingly. And there is also a guideline for the minimum size of the logo, which says that on the print it should be 3 by 4 inches. And on the web materials, it has to be minimum 72 pixels of width. There is no limit for the, as large as the logo can be, but for the reason that there has to be minimum width of 72 pixels. And basically there has to be also a clearance space around the logo so that the logo is more prominent on any material that we use. The rules are that we need to have the minimum size that should be, the spacing that should be there around the logo should be the square of the height of the word mark that is in the logo. That is the Toastmasters International word mark written. The simple idea would be to make a little square side equal to the height of the word mark and just graze it around the surface of around the logo, so that space is just the clearance space, the breathing space that is available for the logo, and place it anywhere in your designs. We have logo lockups. One of them is along with the tagline where leaders are made. The other is with a website, which was also there in the previous manual. There is a brand new lockup introduced with this, fancy since 1924 written on it, so we can use it in your designs. Moving on to the logo wordmark. So we can use only the wordmark, which is in the globe logo, and that can be also in 3 versions: the full color version, the grayscale, and the white. So if you have a dark poster, you can place a brighter one, and if you have a light color poster, you can use the full color version. And the same guidelines for the minimum space around the logo, it can apply to the word mark itself. You can just have a square of the height of the word mark, and then you can just trace it around around the word mark. And there is also a word mark lockup, which is again with the since 1924 tagline that is there. And there are new additions nowadays. Now we can also use the logo along with the District 20 or your club name or area or division name written below it. Even that is allowed now. Moving on to the don'ts in using logos. So let's let the logo be as it is. Don't twist it. Don't change its color. Don't just drag it. Don't elongate it. And if you are using logo as a watermark, don't add any text on it. Basically, let it be as it is because it reflects the Toastmasters identity. Moving on to the pathways logos. So when you need to when pathways was introduced, there was this pathways logo available in the previous brand manual. The same is followed here along with the grayscale and the white versions. Basically, it is also, you can place it alternatively. If not the logo, you can also place the pathways logo. The same space guidelines follow. You can have the clearing space around the pathways logo, and the size and the minimum size should be the square of the height of the pathways text, and then just graze it around the surface. Around the logo. The size of the width should be 72 pixels minimum, and also in the print it should be 1 inch. There are also pathways badges available which reflect all the 11 parts of the pathways program. So we can use them in your posters. For example, if you want to create a poster congratulating a member about completion of a path or completion of a level in the path, you can freely use the pathways badges so that they identify the particular path that is involved. Now these logos, word marks, pathways logos, and the badges are available in the Toastmasters website in the logos tab. You can download it and use it as required. Moving on to the color palette. Now we have placed the logo as an identity for our material. We need to also have to know what kind of colors should be used to make the poster or any other material brand compliant. So the primary colors are true maroon, loyal blue, and cool gray. So only these 3 colors are basically allowed to use, and there is also the proper shade. There is a specific code for the color shade that you need to use. The hex code is given, the RGB is given, and for the PowerPoint or anything, hex for the Canva purpose, and Pantone for the print material. We need to use the exact hex code. You need to just note it down and then use it in your designs. There is also an accent color, happy yellow, which can be sparingly used if you want to highlight it, text, call out, or also if you want to just lift your design a bit, you can just accentuate your designs with the happy yellow color. Neutral colors, white and black, can also be used. You can also have text written in white or have a poster with a background of white. They can also be used as the Toastmasters brand color. Gradients. Nowadays, if you want to make the design beautiful, we can also use gradients. Probably any brand color, maroon, the royal blue, and the gray clubbed with white can be used as a gradient for your posters. Along with that, there is also a royal blue gradient, and the code that the gradient should vary is also mentioned. And this is actually not a part of the brand manual, but Toastmasters has also provided these guidelines alternatively, and it might be incorporated in the brand manual in the coming days. But you can use the royal blue gradient as mentioned. You can have it from left to right, top to bottom, and then sideways. So this gradient can be used as part of your designs. So now we are done with logos, wordmarks, and colors are decided. What next? Fonts. Yes. Are we having some guidelines for the use of fonts? Yes. Because our fonts should be clear and consistent, and they should be, easily readable. So Toastmasters has specified few brand fonts. The primary typeface is Gotham. So Gotham is a paid font. So you have a free alternate, which is Montserrat, which can be freely used. These can be downloaded. The free alternates can be downloaded from the brand manual itself. So any form of Gotham or Montserrat can be used. There are the light version, the light, the bold, and the black. All of them can be used. The body typeface is Myriad Pro. So if you need to add some kind of text or bullet points in your materials, you can use Myriad Pro as the body font. And the free alternate for that is also Source Sans Pro. If Myriad Pro, which is a paid font, is not available, you can use Source Sans Pro. Even that, also any variety of Source Sans Pro or Myriad Pro can be used. The black, the bold, semi-bold versions can be used. For example, if you are not having access to any of these fonts, any of these 4 fonts, then you can also go for the Arial, which is universally available. You can even use that as a typeface in case if you don't have access to these 4 fonts. Basically, this is about the fonts.
Sana, you have muted yourself.
I'm sorry. Okay. Well, for the images guidelines, should you have to add up some images for your design, then there are certain guidelines for that. Firstly, your images, your pictures that you use should reflect, I'm sorry, do I see the screen? The images that we see should reflect the Toastmasters environment. They should be engaging, empowering, and supporting. For example, you should not use an image that shows a very sad and depressed atmosphere. Probably something which is more empowering, something from your speech contests, from your meetings in general. Pictures of your members can be used as part of your design. You can use various networking and confidence pictures. And alternatively, there are a lot of pictures available in the Toastmasters website itself. In the Toastmasters photo gallery, there are hundreds of pictures, and you can download it from. They are available in all kind of sharpness. The image quality can be varied and downloaded. It is available for you. Well, there is something that is not used as that shouldn't be used as pictures. They are landscapes. Something which is not relevant to Toastmasters, the landscapes, anything else like the pictures of children, food, and medicines, cartoons, clip arts, all these things should not be incorporated as part of your Toastmasters brand design. Basically, it's best to use something which is from your club, your meetings, your contests, your networking, open houses that you have conducted, speech crafts, and all these things can be used. And something which is not relevant, like the illustrations, like the sceneries, which actually confuse you as to, and which do not portray what the Toastmasters meeting looks like, that should be discouraged. Moving on to the resources. Well, Toastmasters has also standardized various stationery items that we want to incorporate. For example, should you have to use meeting minutes, if you want to use email signatures, you want to use business cards and newsletter templates, all these are standardized and that can be downloaded from the Toastmasters website itself. So if you need to really use an email signature or your business card, which should relate you to Toastmasters, then you have to use the standard templates involved. So these are already present in the brand portal, and you need to download the stationery tab. So let us show you where actually all this is present. I have the next slide, please. Well, if you go to the resources tab and the brand portal, the first thing, a lot of sub tabs there. The first one is the brand manual itself, which is itself the biggest resource, wherein you have lots of fonts available. You can refer to the brand manual for anything, for the hex code of the color you want to use. Should you have to verify what kind of pictures are needed, what are the guidelines for the colors and logo usage, you can always refer to the brand manual as aptly as it says in the manual, right? You can always have it handy to use. Apart from brand manual, there are again stationery templates. As I said, you have various resources like newsletter templates, meeting agendas, business cards, email signatures available there. And there are also professional images tab, wherein you can have Toastmasters branded of meetings. And there are hundreds of pictures over there, which you can use from. And the last tab is Trademark Use Request, wherein should you have to submit a request to the Toastmasters for any grievance of yours, for any queries, you can go there and you can submit a request to the Toastmasters International. They will reply you back. Okay, moving on to the standard procedures and policies. Let's put a few of them. Firstly, the video guidelines. So what are the standards that are needed to create your videos? Now, videos have become the order of the day now. So especially in the virtual environment, they are widely used to promote your meetings and your events. So do we have certain guidelines to use videos? Yes. Few of them are, firstly, the logo should be placed in one of the first slides of the video, which should have also your club name, your district name, and also this should be placed on the brand colors. All the slides basically in your video should be brand compliant. It means they must have the brand colors and exact shade of the colors as we use in any other brand materials. Then one of the first couple of slides should also be the disclaimer. The disclaimer basically is what we have, what is mentioned there. It's just a text which is already given in the brand manual, and you can copy paste it. A disclaimer should also be on an opaque background. One thing is both the logo as well as the disclaimer should be on a very solid, clear and distinct background, and it should not be on an animated background. I've got one of my videos rejected for the same reasons. So please place them on a very solid and a very clear and distinct background. After that, if you have to use some pictures of some members in your video, you need to have written permission from those people. Basically, to prevent plagiarism, any picture usage should be authorized by the individuals that are present in the pictures. At the end of the video, there has to be a slide which should give end credits to the creator of the video, his or her club name, the district name, and also the year of use, and with a copyright C symbol on it. So that probably is used so that the video is not plagiarized. So these are the guidelines that we need to follow in creating your videos. Now, should you have to have a jacket designed or a t-shirt designed with the Toastmasters brand identity, then you are welcome to do so. But there are a few guidelines for that. So firstly, the logo or the wordmark should always be present in the front of the apparel. The t-shirt of a jacket should have the logo in the front, and that should not be larger than 3 inches in diameter. Then also the words on the back of your t-shirt or the jacket should not be larger than 12 inches wide and 17 inches high. So these are the basic guidelines that we need to keep in mind while designing an apparel. And the colors of the apparel should be the primary colors available in the brand manual, along with white and black, the blue, burgundy, and gray brand colors, they must be the colors that should be used to design your apparel and not others. So once you create these non-authorized things, something that you have created from the scratch, your apparels and your videos or any other material, you will have to submit a trademark use request to the Toastmasters International. So basically, you need to go to the Toastmasters, the trademark use request form tab, and then you have to just fill in all the details along with the design of the apparel or the video or any other material that you create, and submit a request to the Toastmasters. And they will reply back whether, giving you an authorized certificate, giving you an authority to use the material as brand compliant or otherwise, and then you can have the authority to circulate your designs under the umbrella of Toastmasters. So how do we submit the Toastmasters, the trademark use request? Is, see, for example, if you're having the standard resources which are readily available in the brand portal, for example, the standard templates, accessories, the agendas, newsletter templates, all these, they don't need to have any, they don't require any trademark use request. But if you're using something which is not authorized by Toastmasters, something that you have created from scratch, then we need to actually submit a trademark use request to the Toastmasters to be sure that our design is brand compliant. So if videos are come under that, and apparels and all the other things, the ribbons, the banners, the certificates and trophies that we use, all need to be having an authorized certificate from the Toastmasters International. So how do we do that? If we do not have access, if we can't go and log in a request to the Toastmasters brand portal in the trademark use request form, you can also email it to Toastmasters at brand@toastmasters.org or trademarks@toastmasters.org. You need to give a sample of it. If it is a video, you need to attach the video. If it is an apparel, you have to have a picture of the apparel, or any other design. You need to just give a sample and then mail it to the Toastmasters International with all the details, and they will get back to you with the approved request and a certificate. And only then you can use it in your, as you require in your publicity items. Now, basically, if you really need to reach out and know more about it, and if you to really know whether your designs are brand compliant, you need to have a trademark use request submitted and they're prompt in replying. And if not, then the district PR and the other PR team is happy to help you. So this is my time. Back to you, Toastmaster Madam.
Thank you so much, Toastmasters, and I hope that was really clear for everybody else who wants to know what are the changes that are in the current brand manual. Now, the current brand the new brand manual has actually specified guidelines for websites, which was something that we did not have before. So, I've not seen a lot of members actually implement this in their websites. So it's okay for our members to have websites as long as you actually maintain or make sure that you follow these certain procedures. First of all, there is a certain protocol in the Intellectual Property Protocol 4.0, Section 2 on websites. So just make sure that you actually read through and make sure that your website is in line with with all the guidelines that are mentioned over there. And another important guideline is that websites are not supposed to copy material or any other publication in Toastmasters that are already available in Toastmasters International website. So your content in the website has to be original, and it should originate from the district or the club or the area itself. And you can reference the Toastmasters International website and its resources in your website itself, but you cannot post it directly over there. So make sure your websites contain the Toastmasters International website as well as your district website. If, for example, if you're talking about clubs who have scheduled meetings, or for example, areas that have scheduled events, districts, and all of these that have scheduled events, you can also add an event calendar so that whoever visits your website knows what is coming up next, or what events are we expecting, for example, to have next. If you have a newsletter, it is a really good idea or a platform to actually upload your websites, upload your newsletters on your websites, And any other useful links, as I said, you can refer to the Toastmasters International website, or for example, certain articles that are available in the Toastmasters International website that our members can find useful. But most importantly, there is a certain disclaimer that has to be added in the Toastmasters website, which is different than what Toastmasters Sana has explained that is used in the web videos. There's a certain disclaimer, so make sure that it's added in your website. It's there in the brand manual, and it's also there in the protocol, section 2. Coming to the corporate club guidelines. This is also something that was not there in the old manual, but have been specified in the new manual. So a lot of complaints came from the corporate club saying that we are supposed to have our logos. Why can't we have our logos with the Toastmasters International logo? Well, guess what? Now it's okay for you or for corporate clubs actually to add 2 logos in one poster, but this is only exclusive for corporate logos, as long as they're not side by side next to each other, and they have to be in a different position or alternate positions. So let's say, so for example, this, if they are in different corners, the opposite side of each other, and the text is in the middle, this is fine. Or if one is placed on the top and the other one is on the bottom, this is also fine. But as long as they're not placed next to each other, or for example, the corporate logo is much, much bigger than the Toastmasters International logo, these are not, these uses of the logos are not going to be allowed. We have also guidelines for Gavel clubs. Earlier, we did not have Gavel club logos in the brand manual, but this time Toastmasters International have included the Gavel clubs as part of the brand manual, which is a really good thing. So we have certain logos that have to be used for Gavel clubs. Any other logo that is besides those that are in the brand manual are not allowed to be used. And the logo must not be changed as well. And Gavel clubs are also asked to actually adhere to all of the guidelines that are implemented into the Toastmasters International. So we have the visual guidelines and we have the photography. So all of the posters related to Gavel clubs have to adhere to these brand guidelines. We also have chartered clubs that are supposed to also use the Gavel clubs, and if Gavel club logos, and if the Gavel club wants to, for example, produce locally produced, for example, club banner or anything, they have to make sure that the Gavel club logo is placed over in the club banner. Otherwise, you can have a digital club banner and simply replace the Toastmasters logo with the Gavel club logo. This is the only exemption that is allowed. Again, so whether it is for the Gavel clubs or our Toastmasters International logos and wordmarks, logos must not be altered or changed in any way. They have not to be cropped. Just keep them as it is, and basically you'll be safe. And do not create any taglines or customized taglines in for the Gavel clubs. We have also district conference guidelines. So for the district conference guidelines, we actually can create specific or customized logos, themes, and as well as taglines. We have seen DTAG coming with different logos, different taglines, catchphrases. So this is the only exemption that is allowed. It's actually not just for the district conference, but actually for any other conference. It should be conference or a contest. So it should not be, for example, a certain logo or a certain tagline for the entire year. It should be for a specific occasion, and the only occasion that is allowed is actually contests. So for example, taking the district conference, again, logos, taglines, and themes besides the Toastmasters logo are allowed. And the use of the Toastmasters International logo and tagline is optional. So whoever is working on the PR content for the district, for the DTAC, can or may or may not use the Toastmasters logo on taglines over there. As for sponsors, they're okay to actually recognize the sponsors of the district conference as long as they are away from the TI logo, and in a separate sheet that is specified for sponsors only. And lastly, this is something that is really important, but many members actually forget to go through. As part of PR, we have a massive sea of information, a massive sea of guidelines that we have to follow. But what are you going to remember and what are you going to memorize? You cannot. But at least read through the sources that you have. And one of the important sources that we have is the intellectual property that is stated in the TI governing documents. We have policy and protocol 4.0, which is intellectual property. It's there in the Toastmasters website. I really encourage everybody who is taking up PR or having a PR officer to actually go there. Most of the information stated over there that is already unknown, but just in case to refresh your memory and go through exactly something that you have missed properly, probably or not. So this is your reference and source besides the brand manual. Now, hope this session was crisp, clear, and everybody has grabbed all of the information that is necessary, and we will now open the floor for questions. I'm looking at Toastmaster Ali Riyab, our moderator. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have bombarded you with questions, and take it away, Ali.
Hello, Toastmasters. Good evening. My name is Ali Riyab. I am the moderator of this session, and I'll be managing the Q&A part of the presentation. So let us go ahead. And the way we will manage this is by you can put your questions in the chat, and I'll be asking the speakers to answer them. So we have one question so far, and it is, why can't TI provide the Gotham font to all members? Why can't TI provide the Gotham font for all members?
Well, Gotham is a paid font. So that's the reason why, basically, it is a paid font, right? That's the reason why TI has provided a free alternative, which is Montserrat. So Montserrat can be also used. So there is no need to, stick to Gotham. So, but if you can download it, it's a paid font, so you can download it. Otherwise, use Montserrat. Thank you. I hope I answered the question.
The second question is, how about if the corporate has its own branding guidelines? So which of the two should be followed? How about if the corporate has its own branding guidelines? So which one of the two should be followed?
Let's say middle grounds. Actually, we have seen a lot of cases that actually the brands, the corporate clubs have certain brands guidelines that have to be followed. But I'm pretty sure that the Toastmasters Club as well as the corporate club can reach to a middle ground. So, for example, we have the neutral colors such as the black and white can be used. For example, if we have blue color, they can use that as well. But like I said, it's about the middle ground. So find what is common between the Toastmasters brand as well as the corporate, as your corporate clubs, and you can very much well establish a publication that is both follows the guidelines of Toastmasters as well as the corporate club corporate club guidelines.
Is there any standard for making video to promote club level or district level? Is there any standard for making video to promote club level or district level?
The guidelines that we mentioned, which are part of the brand manual, are the only things that should be followed. Otherwise, there is no video standard template, if that is what the question is. There is no standard video template. You can have your own design, but you need to follow the guidelines, the color guidelines, and also the disclaimer should be added. Whatever the guidelines were mentioned, all these should be incorporated as part of your video design, and they are good to use. Thank you.
Should I mail organizational about the club certification? Should I mail organizational about the club certification?
I guess you should. If you are designing the certificate yourself, then you need to send a login a trademark usage request and then get it approved. Only then you can use the certificates if you are using Toastmasters logo with it.
What does represent different colors in logos?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the
question? What does represent different colors in logos?
What logos?
If I am understanding it right, are you trying to say what the colors represent?
What does represent different colors in logos? Yeah, I guess that's what Toastmaster Dinesh want to ask exactly. I guess this is the answer. Toastmaster Danish, can you clarify about the question? Is this what do you mean? What does each
Good
color
evening,
represent?
Toastmasters Ali Riyad, and good evening, presenter Sana Fatma. I seen the different colors of the logo, like there's some maroon color, some blue color. So that I want to know, does anything representing these colors?
We have not known, at least Toastmasters brand manual doesn't talk about a representation, or even probably you are associating it with the colors that signify, that stand for something in a lot of other brands, right? Basically, the colors don't represent anything. It's just a standard that should be used as part of your design so that a uniformity is maintained. So we have a proper exact shade of some of the colors. They actually don't talk about any, they are not, representing any of the qualities as such. It is not talked about in the brand manual. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And another, my question also there follow, using the business card, is there any criteria or any eligibility, or any Toastmasters can use this business card?
Yes, as the member, any Toastmaster can use the Toastmasters business card. You can download the standard business cards and you can customize them. You can add on your name to it. Any member, any Toastmaster can use it.
Thank you very much.
Another question.
Yeah.
I was expecting to have workshop with how to use for club. I was expecting to have workshop with how to use for club.
How to use what?
Workshop with how to use for club. Toastmaster Muhammad, can you clarify more about how to use what for the club?
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Ali, for giving a chance to speaking with this one.
Sorry, Toastmaster Muhammad, I believe your voice is not clear for us. Can you raise your voice, please?
Yes, now you can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I was expecting to have a workshop with how to use the club logo, design, the tagline, especially for the new club, which they don't know about much. One, and second thing also, as a new VPPR, they want to also to follow the standards of Toastmasters International, but it has to be have some kind of a workshop with hands-on experience, so we can take away and we can use in our club for meetings. Now this is the very good chance and opportunity for a new club or existing club, the old club, so they can promote their brand. In my sense, the brand means my own Toastmasters members, so I can promote them. So it can be word of mouth, it can be expanded, and to Toastmasters will be as a market. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Muhammad. As the title of this workshop states, this is only related to the brand manual. As part of our activity in the district PR team, we are actually launching a series of workshops that are dedicated to the PR. So the first part is to actually first know the theory and know what is there for us, what can we use and what can we not use. And then later on, we will be talking about in another workshop and another time, we will be talking about how to design posters, how to use the logos, and what kind of design program that you can use. We will be having a Canva, for example, a designing tool, as well as PowerPoint designing workshops, but this is all at a later stage. This is just our first workshop for the entire term, and hopefully many more will come. I hope that you stay tuned for all of the workshops that are coming up, and looking forward to seeing you.
Thank you. Why TI is forcing for paid fonts, not free fonts? Why TI is forcing for paid fonts, not free fonts?
I guess TI is not forcing at all. In fact, they are themselves providing the free fonts, which you can download from the brand manual itself. The free Montserrat, the Source Pro is something that TI themselves are asking us to use because, they don't want us to use, pay for the fonts always. If you have, you can use Godam. And if you don't, then you can have the free Montserrat or the Source Pro font. So there is no force, basically. Thank you.
Just to add on Toastmaster Sana and our question that has been raised as well, there is nothing wrong with using the alternative versions. If you use the alternative version, that does not mean that you are violating the brand. On the contrary. But because Toastmasters International, when they selected these fonts, they actually selected them for their clarity, for the image that they produce, and what kind of feeling that they produce when, so for example, certain people look at these fonts, the curves and all of and the curves and the technicalities behind these fonts that are used. So a similar version for Gotham is actually Montserrat, and for Marriott Pro, there is also the Source Sans Pro. So that you're violating the brand. It's just these are the available fonts for in terms of Gotham, and actually the district PRs, I believe they are supposed to they can get access to the Marriott Pro, but you don't necessarily have to use the primary or the secondary typefaces that are specified in the brand manual. You are free to use the Montserrat as an alternative font, as well as the body typeface, which is a Source Sans Pro. Thank you.
Another question. I understand a club can have its own logo alongside Toastmasters International logo. Is that correct?
Can you repeat that?
I understand a club can have its own logo alongside Toastmasters International logo. Is that correct?
Toastmasters, are you there?
Yeah. A club should not be using its own logo. We cannot create and use our own logos. And for the corporate clubs, the guidelines were mentioned by Toastmaster Maram. But as a normal club, you cannot have your own logo. Basically, you need to use the Toastmasters logo. Thank you.
About the Gavel Club, I'm sorry, Toastmaster Surya. I was the one who asked the question. About the Gavel clubs, can they have, because they're usually under the
Sorry, Toastmasters, today your voice is breaking. For the Gavel clubs, can they use?
Can they use their own logo alongside the Toastmasters logo?
No, dear.
Because
the Toastmasters logo, in fact, the Toastmasters logo cannot be used on Gavel clubs. The only allowed logo that is to be used for Gavel club, any Gavel club publication, is just the Gavel club logos that are specified in the brand manual. So Gavel clubs cannot create their own logos, cannot create their own themes or taglines for the entire year or anything. So they have to stick with the logos that are specified in the brand manual. It has 3 versions: the blue,
okay.
the blue, the blue, the black, and the maroon.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Ali, do we have more questions? Because we have a lot. We have a couple of questions.
Is there any more questions, Toastmasters?
Yes, we actually have a couple of Toastmasters who have raised their hands. I will give the chance or ask Toastmaster Fatma Abdu to unmute herself and.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Maram and Toastmaster Sana, for this wonderful workshop. Actually, everything is clear and your efforts are highly appreciated. Actually, I have only one question regarding, you have made it very clear for the sponsors and the corporate clubs, and this was a part of my question. The second part is some WhatsApp groups or some Toastmasters, they create WhatsApp groups and they create their own logos. And when I discussed with them that this is violent because they shouldn't put it at the same time on the same post used with the logo of Toastmasters, they said no, because this is not a club. So I would like just to make it sure that it's not allowed to put such logos with the Toastmasters logo on the posts. Is that right?
Yes, in fact. Toastmaster Sana, would you like to take that, or shall I just take it? All right. In fact, no other logos can be put in line with Toastmasters International logo. The only exception is actually again for corporate clubs. In terms of logos, for example, if we're talking about Zoom or WhatsApp or Instagram accounts, these are okay to actually have it in the poster, as long as they are away and much smaller than the Toastmasters International logo. But otherwise, no other logo can be put with the Toastmasters International logo, especially if it belongs to a club or an area or a division. For districts, again, the only exception is for DTAG. If the district, for example, produces a normal poster and has the two logos next to each other, this is actually considered a violation. So to answer your question, in terms of the WhatsApp group, the icon of the WhatsApp group can be anything that the group decides. But if you are producing posters and having that logo that you have created with the Toastmasters International logo, that is not allowed.
Yes, thank you so much, because I tried to convince them that this is violent, but they are not convinced. And as per the workshop, they have to at least request Toastmasters International for approval.
Yes, exactly. But for the logos, it's highly unlikely to actually have approval for that, because like I said, the only exception is if the logo will be used in contests or conferences, such as DTAG such as DTAG actually, just DTAG. Yes. Other areas cannot create their own logos, but they can create their own themes. So for example, create Flourish and etc. If that is created for an area contest level for that specific occasion, that is fine. But for logos, the only exception aside from the Toastmasters International logo is the DTAG itself.
Yes, I understand. Thank you so much, and bless you. Thank you.
You have two more questions here. I don't understand that we can use alternative font, but what we want to ask about is why can't TI provide to all members this font? I mean the Gotham font. If that is not the point, why did they say to use Gotham?
I think it was already answered by Toastmaster Maram.
Yeah,
that
well,
is the standard.
It's actually because we have lots of members in the Toastmasters International website. So imagine if Toastmasters International pays for all of the members to use that font. It's going to actually drain the budget of Toastmasters International. But again, the reason why they chose it, it's actually for their to apply their vision and mission, and basically projects the idea and the feeling that they want people to they wanted to reach to the outside world or the target audience. But again, so alternative fonts can be used, and it's okay for it's okay to actually use the alternative fonts.
One question here: when is the next planned workshop? When is the next planned workshop?
It's hopefully going to be in September, or we might have another workshop that is related to PR by the end of August. More details will be definitely posted well ahead of time, but I do request all of the members to actually follow our social media accounts if you haven't. It's Toastmasters, it's District 20 Toastmasters on the Instagram, as well as our page, District 20 Toastmasters.
Thank you. For the Toastmasters, do you have more questions?
Yes, I do have a question from my side. Our Toastmaster Fatma Deshti. Can you please unmute yourself?
Yeah, hi. How are you, Maram?
Hi, I'm good.
Yeah, thank you. Fine. I would like to ask about the certifications, because we are doing the certification for the club as honoring and as appreciation for the guests or for the Toastmasters, as for their roles in the meeting, or for being the first speaker, like this. That's why I was confused. I have to mail the Toastmaster organization to take their approval for these certifications also, or for certain events only. It's a little bit confusing for me.
See, actually, you can use these certificates as long as you don't have the logo on it. But if you want to have the logo on it, then you have to you have to ask for a trademark request.
But
it is advised to. It's actually advised to submit a request, make a design and submit a request in the trademark request form, and they are prompt to reply. You know, once they approve with the approval certificate, you can use it freely then. So it's
okay. And
you need to submit it to the Toastmasters.
Can I? And what email I have to mail the organization?
we should share it with that, and it is brand@toastmasters.org or trademarks@toastmasters.org.
Trademark. Yeah, could you share the email with us and the chat?
You can actually visit. Yes. It's actually there in the brand manual and the trademark use request. There is a link that takes you to the form that you have to in. If the form does not work, then you can actually email Toastmasters International, and they have mentioned the emails at the bottom of the page.
Okay, thank you so much, and thank you for this event.
You're welcome, Toastmaster Fatma. We do have a couple of questions that are posted on private message. We have this question that says, you have mentioned that yellow is not a primary color, just accent color. So if I'm making a painter with blue and yellow as the dominant color, am I violating the brand rules? Sana?
Can you repeat the question? I just understood that yellow is used as a background color, and what else?
Yeah, the question says, if I am making a painter with blue and yellow as dominant colors, am I violating the brand rules?
No, you wouldn't. If you're using yellow spacely and you're clubbing it along with the other colors or the brand compliant colors, which are the dominant colors of the poster, then you aren't violating any guidelines.
As long as the yellow is actually not dominating.
Yes. Basically, it is just to lift up your picture and probably give an accent. If you're clubbing it with the other brand compliant colors and they are the dominant colors in the poster, then you can use it.
Okay, we do have another question here that says, how about the wedding like flyers where a couple of members are posted to promote the events? This is from DTM Khalid Abdullah. Can you please further explain the question? I'm not sure if it reached you or you're the one who asked it. DTM Khalid?
That was not really a question, but it's fine since you brought it up here. Now, as the intention behind the question is, we should just be promoting for the clubs and not really that goes behind the clubs, if I may put it this way. The intention of putting members is, of course, to promote the members of the club itself, but it shouldn't look as we are promoting for the members to be for other reasons. It should be only for the club itself.
Thank you, DTM Khalid, for that. Thank you very much. And since I think we no longer have questions, and since we have a workshop that is also within 10 minutes from now, we will I would like to actually thank the presenter we have here, Toastmaster Sana, for that wonderful question and answer session. And I would like to also pay tribute to Toastmaster Ali Riyad for being an awesome moderator, and as well as Toastmaster Pruvi. Our timer. I hope everybody has benefited from this workshop and it served the purpose that was scheduled for. If you have any questions, you are more than welcome to actually email the District PR on pr.district20@gmail.com. If you need to reach out, actually, I am available on WhatsApp as well. Just if you're not sure of your drop us an email, drop us a WhatsApp message, and we will. Thank you so much once again. I would like to actually, in fact, also thank the District Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Mohammed Salim, for providing me the opportunity to actually conduct these series of workshops, which hopefully all of the members are going to benefit from. So stay tuned for our next workshop that is scheduled for next time by the end of the month or September. And with that, thank you very much. And
thank you everyone for joining in. Have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you, everyone. It was a really useful workshop.
Thank you. Thank you so much.